Okay, this is the theory for week 4, unit 2.4, file management. Okay, so basically computers store data for a number of reasons. The data contains the instructions that the computer uses to function and run applications. It is loaded into the memory, which is RAM, that the computer is currently using in its applications, and then storage allows users to keep information that they would like to access on the computer. So that can be now, later, in here, whatever you need. Okay. Then data is saved in memory while it is used by an application. Information needed for a later access is stored in a database or file. These are saved then on a permanent storage device. Okay, here they speak about registry. You don't have to focus too much on this. You won't really get questions on this, but it is interesting to know that each file type has its own unique data structure that records all the information in a format only a certain software can understand. Then you get something that is called a file allocation table, or FAT, which is basically a database that keeps track of every file on your hard disk. The registry is a hierarchical database that stores low-level settings for the operating system and for applications. This registry is used to store much of the information and settings for software programs, hardware devices, user preferences, operating system configurations, and so forth. Okay, a database is a collection of organized data that can be accessed and is designed for basically a rapid search and retrieval by a computer. Databases are structured also to facilitate storage, retrieval, modification, and deletion of data in conjunction with various data processing operations. Then we get to files. So basically we all know what a file is. So here in my Explorer, here is an example of 3 folders. If you open, you will get files and folders. You will see there's multiple stuff in there. Okay. Organizing files. Okay, so how is it basically organized? How do you get from one to another? How do you store basically the files? So files are stored basically in folders or directories. These are just basically to help organize the computer's files so that you can easily locate and search for the files in the system. Then each folder can contain either files or different subfolders, like I just showed you. File specification. Okay. So basically the location that a file is saved in is recorded in the file path for that file. Okay, I'm gonna show you what I mean by a file path. Okay, so down here we've got C colon. Okay, so that is basically your drive on which is the file is allocated. So you can get a C drive, which is normally your main. If you work on a Windows, it's normally your main drive is your C drive. You can get, if you have, let's say, 2 hard drives in, next one could be a D drive. Okay, then it is followed by a backslash, and then you've got your first folder. Okay, so if it's on C, it's in the folder music. Then you have if there is basically another backslash, that would be a folder in this folder. So a folder in music. So that is called a subfolder. Then you will see if there's another backslash, but this one has something at the end. It's like a dot something. That would be then the file you are trying to open or locating. So in this case it's Moonlight. So Moonlight will be your file name. And then you have this .mps is called an extension. Okay, so just to show you what I mean is, let's say, let's go into this one. Okay, so this file here, it is a MP4. What I can do is go properties, I can confirm that is a .mp4. Okay, so this one's file path, you can actually also see that by properties, is C, which is my drive. It is in users, it's well, my username account, it's on my desktop in this IT folder, and then if that were to be expanded, you can actually, there we go, week 4, and then for loops memo, and then obviously that is the file name, and then it would just get the .mp4. Okay, so ways in which you can see the file path, you can do what I just did. Another way is, if you just want to figure out where it is, you can just basically click on the file, go here where the browser type of thing is, click on the side, and it will actually highlight the whole file directory for you. So you can see that is exactly what I showed you just in the properties. Okay. Okay, then moving on. So a Windows operating system organizes its drives and the folders and files in a hierarchical tree structure. Okay, so that means basically you've got your disk drives at the top, then you've got on your disk drive, you've got folders. So these folders are normally called kind of like branches. If you think about a tree, you've got your main stump, then you've got your folders, which is branches. Then your branches can have either, well, files, which is seen as leaves, or it can also have branches, which is then called your subfolders. And then these subfolders can again actually also have subfolders, or it can have files. Okay. Then just a few reasons for having a file structure. So why would you want a file structure? Well, that is basically just to increase the efficiency when you're trying to retrieve files and data. It guarantees a high level of productivity. If you think about productivity in means of, if I want the work on the Word for my math assignment that I created 2 weeks ago, I can easily just go on my desktop into schoolwork, go into maths, go look for term 2, and then go into that folder, and then there I see it is the one I've been working on, instead of searching your whole computer for this one file you saved but you couldn't remember in which file you actually saved it. Okay, it helps the users to organize data, so like I just said, and then just basically it makes it also easier to identify files. Okay, and also if you think about, if I said schoolwork is your one folder, it just basically ensures that all the related data are organized and grouped together, so you won't have personal, let's say, school reports in your actual school. You will maybe make another one, it is more like a academic record, and store your stuff in there. Okay. Then how do you manipulate these files and folders that are on your computer? Okay, you get a few. So the first one is copying the files. Okay, when a file is copied, we say it is basically duplicated. Okay, this file is copied to the computer's clipboard, and then this duplication file can then be placed anywhere on the storage device or on a storage device connected to the computer using the paste command. Okay, how do you copy and paste? Well, it's easy. You can simply left click on a file you want to copy. While pressing the control key on the keyboard, you can just click or you can drag the file to another source folder from the source folder to a destination, or you can just drop the files, so just basically drag and drop, easy. Okay, but I normally just use shortcut keys. It's way easier, way quicker, it saves you a lot of time. So you just click on a file to select it, press Ctrl C, that will copy the file. Then you just go to the folder or any place you want to go store these files you just copied, and you simply press down Ctrl and V at the same time, and that will just paste the files. Then we get to moving the files. When you want to move the files, the selected files are copied to a new destination and then deleted from their original destination. Okay, so that means there is no duplicate. If you move it from your one file to another folder, it is the only copy. There isn't one still at the old place. Okay, how do you move files? Well, you can again just drag and drop. So you can just left click on the file you would like to move. Okay, then in a different file explorer window, navigate to the folder where you would like to place the copied files. Then just drag the file from the source to the destination and then drop it there. Okay. Shortcut keys, again, loving this, is you just click on the file you want to move, you press Ctrl X, this will actually cut it, and we know cut is you move it from one place to another, instead of Ctrl C, which is copy. Then you just navigate to the folder you want to place your copied files, and you simply press Ctrl V on the keyboard, and that will actually paste these cutted files. Okay, to rename a file, so if you created a file with the wrong name or you want to update it or whatever, you just click on the file you want to rename. So you would left click, then click on using the mouse, click on the name of the selected file, enter a new name for your file and press the enter key. Okay, so this is almost like a double click, but it's a long click. So to demonstrate it, if I want to rename this, I would click and click again. Okay, so it's a bit spaced out at 2 clicks. It's not a double quick click, it's a click and a click. Okay, so then I can just type in anything I want to. Another shortcut which I just normally use is you can press F2 on your keyboard. If the file is highlighted, you can rename it. Another way is just to simply right click it and just say rename, and that will also do the same functions. Okay, but when you are naming these files, it is important that you choose clear descriptive names for the files. Okay, so never use a complicated structure. Ensure that you can distinguish between similar files based on the file names. Alright, use the dash symbol to separate different elements in a file. So if you have got your name and date of the file, just separate it. Okay, and then just basically give the files you save a proper name. Okay, so actually this one looks nice because I know it's on my desktop in the IT folder. I can go to week 4 and I've got all my stuff here. It's very neat. If you go have a look on my desktop, what you don't want to do is you don't want to have folders all over the place, like new folder 1, new folder 2, new folder 3, new folder 4. It has a bunch of rubbish and I've got no cooking clue which is in what folder. If you create a word and you just save it, then you don't know actually where that folder is or what the name it is. So you actually spend time opening each Word document because you are trying to look for your math questionnaire paper you did a week ago and now you can't find it. Okay, then we get to deleting files. The delete command allows you to remove files from your storage device, and then that is basically just to make space for something else to be stored on the hard drive. In Microsoft Windows, all deleted files are first moved to the recycle bin. So the recycle bin is basically a temporary folder where all the files are stored that you want to delete. Okay, once you want to fully delete it, you just right click on the recycle bin and say empty recycle bin, and that will permanently remove it from your hard drive. Okay, then yes, you can just read through that part, emptying it, but it's basically just what I said. And then guidelines to develop good file naming conventions is keep files names short but meaningful, include useful information such as the name of the project or document you're working on, include version numbers. So if you have you have one Delphi project, you save it and then you carry on, create new versions for it every time you change something. Okay. Then also dates should always be in the format year, dash month, dash day. So the files will be organized in date order. Alright. Then we've got just a few things to avoid with file naming conventions. Simple characters, so these characters normally can't go into your file's name. Abbreviations that are not easy to understand, and non-specific words such as draft, current, or document. Okay. And that is all for this unit. And then just for homework, activity 2.5, the whole question. Okay.